Giving all glory, honor, and praises due to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah HaKodash. Double honors to our apostles, elders, and bishops of Great Millstone who rule well over the flock of Israel. Shalom and salutations to you, Akim out here who are pushing the words of truth and sincerity. Shalom. Baratazad is very edifying. I'm a power moth. And as we was just watching, concerning Esau putting the smash, the smackdown on this communication that we all love, got used to, social media. Social media is can be used for good and evil, man. But as you well know, aware of, it was really created for the prophets to do their thing. It does the heavy lifting. The scriptures tell you that his handiwork in the firmament, roughly paraphrasing, the Lord is working through um, the use of these satellites and passing information from phone to phone, and technology, just technology alone, as far as electricity, from electricity to the phone, invention of the phone, to the invention of the radio, passed down all the way to what we got now, just streaming live, and easily making and publishing these videos. Yahweh Shemiel Shah deserves all the credit for that. But what you have here is Esau beginning to see how his downfall is coming about, the way of prophecy, and he's getting bitter about it. The scripture tell you that pride go before destruction, and how the Lord basically want to quit the wicked. So Esau's really scrambling, man, and you see it. He will come down upon anybody and everybody to have this full dominant control, but it's all a part of his pride. This is Proverbs 16:5. It says, "Everyone that is proud in heart is an abomination to Yahweh, to the Lord Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shah." So you're going to be looked at as an abomination, straight up. And that's the thing that's disgusted, disgraced, hated. Um, it's basically you become a curse to Yahweh Shah if you're an abomination. So his heart, meaning his mind, is proud. So therefore Esau is that abomination. He's a detestable thing, a wicked thing in the eyes of the Lord power. It says, though hand join in hand, he shall not go unpunished. So what's going to happen to Esau is he's going to get a very open public destruction, a very open and public shame, right? In the it's like the book of Habakkuk, the second chapter goes into how Esau will be brought down to his shame after he's done all of his evil and shed blood, reaped to him, slaves, and building towns with blood. It says here in verse Habakkuk 2 and uh, 16, it says, "Thou art filled with shame for glory." All right. And so you look that word shame up, it's going to dishonor. Okay. You're disgraced. All right. That's why he's become and was that Isaiah 14? It tells you there's a proverb about this man in the kingdom. Eventually, when the whole earth is at rest, the nations have come together. And in Isaiah 14:4, it says that thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say, how hath the oppressor ceased? The golden city ceased. That's that golden city, Babylon, America. You know, this place is an oppressive society. Okay, everything about your bills, everything about your rent situation, your eviction notices, or your job to job, or your relationships is all messed up out of whack because Esau just willingly giving rights to people. Your wives, your children now have rights that really just ruin the household and give liberty to for women to get abroad. Um, another word for that oppression is to tyrannize. So he's become a tyrant over us. He lords over us. Well, that's why this proverb is going to be spoken against him. A byword is spoken against you. When you look a byword up, it says a personal thing cited as a notorious or outstanding example or embodiment of something. It's a slogan, it's a motto, it's a nickname. And so Esau's nickname is going to be devil, is going to be Satan, but it's also going to be the ceased oppressor. All right, the resting oppressor. He's getting a cease and desist notice from the Habashim Shah to rule, and he'll be eventually exterminated, according to the book of Obadiah. So going back into Habakkuk 2 and 14, 15, it says 16, thou art filled with shame for glory. And again, shame is dishonor and disgrace. Instead of glory, instead of abundance, instead of everybody knowing how good and you know how beautiful Babylon was. This glory of kingdoms. This place was, once set up as the beacon of all kingdoms and beauty of Babylon. And Esau ruling over Babylon. It's like the second leg of the Roman Empire back again. But shame is coming. It says, drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered. The cup of the Lord's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing, all right, more spewing or more disgrace shall be on thy glory. So the whole idea is that Esau's beautiful, glorious reputation is going to be shame, all right, because all of his wickedness and his evil is being fully exposed. He's exposed on the Gaza front. He's exposed with this whole secret operations with the Epstein's and the Ghislaine's. He's exposed on the front of ushering in the Third World War and basically striking other countries, and not saying having anything to do with Gaza, but you're gonna pay these people now. You're paying their veterans now. It's all type of stuff that's it's just coming out. Esau and especially America is shame is being brought to these people because the evidence is stacked up against them. Now, lastly, I just wanted to touch on Amos because there's an obvious this clip is an obvious prelude to a famine coming. And in Amos 8 and 11, it says, "Behold, the days come." So we all in the time of prophecy. And again, you know, one day comes and then the next day comes and then another day comes, but you never really consider that time is ticking down. You always thought like it's just going up, 2005, 6, 7, 8, 9. We look unto the future as bright and we look unto the, you know, fair weather, you know, as far as what's in store. But you never considered that troubles is on the rise, evils is on the rise. It's the end of Esau's age, and the beginning of Jacob is beginning of it that follows. So, but you didn't think this transition was going to come along with a third world's war and a time of pestilence and evil and high witchcraft and wickedness in high places and um, complete, famines and destructions and perilous times. You didn't talk, they didn't teach us that. You see, you always thought that, you got a future in this and a future in that, and ooh, technology, ooh, LeBron James, ooh, that. You're taught to like try to really embrace life like an Epicurean. You're not taught to be a stoic, and think about death daily, all right, which is a stoic principle. You see, so we come to this truth, man. We really have super self-evaluation skills to the point where people start to notice now, and they think, who Lord knows what they think when they meet us. You know what I'm saying? Because it's been way too long since since we went about our day like a true American. Even a quarter bit American, just the ones that vote every 4 years, or July 4th they're an American and then they go back to being a nigga. But we don't live like that, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shah. This truth has been a form of correction, instruction, rebuke, and direction, and it's an eye opening to really our own faults. And we see now why the Lord sent for us in these end times, but he also taught us how to deny ourselves, you know. So it's not about life, living life and getting the most out of life. No, this is hell, and you'll get, it serves its purpose. Every day you wake up wishing you was in the with the Lord, or in the kingdom of heaven. We pretty much live as live as strangers and pilgrims on the side until we get our kingdom. Amos 8 and 11 says, "Behold, the days come, saith the Lord power, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor thirst for water, but of hearing the words of the Lord." So you will have a famine. All right. And we all know famine deals with hunger or being famished. But in this sense, you're being famished by hearing the words of the Lord. To hear, obviously, you need those spiritual ears, because Yahweh Shah said it. They have ears to see or ears to hear, but they do not hear. They have ears, but they don't hear. So you got to be able to listen. You go into that word hear. It means to listen, to obey, to be obedient, to regard. Okay, so it's much more than just hearing a noise. It's about grasping it mentally. And the Lord Yahweh Shah has to give you that kind of perception to understand this word. Even though we're teaching it plain, write it plain upon tables, many still don't get it. They're not at a position. The table was made a snare. They sat down to feast, but instead they ran into a trap. And this word is like that, like that. It's more powerful than the you just being able to read a book and get it and grasp it. It's ain't as simple as one, two, three. Only for the elect, the ones who the Lord chose to wake up in these last days. And this is why that word ain't promoted everywhere. And you hear people talk about the Bible, but they don't really know what it means or what it's talking about. It's very few, a select few, that actually has this understanding. But even for the select few, there's going to be a cutoff point in where you're not going to hear the words anymore. This is why in the book of Matthews 25, it goes into how serious it is for the wise virgins, the wise ones that took oil in their lamps, as opposed to the foolish that didn't take enough oil. And then when the bridegroom came, they ran out of oil. Matthews 25 and 8. And the foolish said unto the wise, "Give us your oil, for our lamps are gone out." But the wise answer, saying, "Not so, lest there not be enough for us and you, but go ye rather to them that sell and buy for yourselves." And showing you that's the famine of hearing the word. Usually we're the ones giving all out the oil. That's what the Lord set up his elect to do. We're passing out oil when we speak this truth in his word. But very soon it's gonna come a point in which we're not gonna be able to do that. And this video is key to demonstrating that over here in Germany. All right, that's what's going on. That's what's happening. They have a situation in which they're going inside homes. They're running down on people for these phones, and as you can see, they're not going to arrest you. They're just going to take you off the internet physically by force by taking your phone. It's that simple. Hey, we come to collect your phone. We saw something that you posted we don't like. Give me that. All right, put it in this Ziploc bag. When will I get it back? Maybe never. And then what they're going to do is they're going to take it and go through everything in your history and really data you, drop it down so that anybody that has similar histories and data, well, they can go ahead and just round up your phones now without even waiting for you to drop something online. Thought crime, so to speak. So if this is happening in Germany, which is like a first world country, this ain't no Zimbabwe, something crazy like Croatia. This ain't Ukraine, it's Germany. The wise men are teaming. These is so-called wise of Esau Edom, right? Not so-called, but these are the wisest of Esau Edom, these Germans. You see how they're getting down? They under pressure. That's how people under pressure move. They're under pressure by the Rothschilds to implement this Third World War, implement this New World Order, Salakia. What you're gonna have is a little bit of these countries over here in Eastern countries, Eastern European countries start implementing certain things, and then you got China's implementing other things of the New World Order, Iran implementing certain things in the New World. Every nation, you just had what is that? Either Zimbabwe or no, not Botswana, not Libya. It's another Uganda just agreed to giving the jab to women that, or no, some type of basically they're going, it's a contraceptive bill from Bill Gates, BG, that they're going to utilize and stop women from getting pregnant for 8 years over here in Uganda. You could look that one up. You could look that one up. But that's just New World Order stuff, man. So whether it's in America, whether it's all the way down to Africa, man, the back up to China and back up through India, you're gonna see different implementations and different test runs of the New World Order trials, right? Just trials. Whatever is acceptable, whatever works in that country, they're gonna test to run it and try it up until the point where they mandate the RFID chip. But you see, the next step, if it's happening in Germany, it's more than likely gonna happen in the U.S. because that's Western countries. What's going to happen is they're going to start silencing the people, silencing what you could put online. There ain't going to be this freedom forever that you think you're going to be able to post what you want and search what you want. That this time is quickly coming to an end. And that famine in hearing the word, this is a prophecy that must be fulfilled before the Lord's return. It goes on in verse 12, and they shall wander from sea to sea, and from the north even to the east. They shall run to and fro to seek the word of the Lord and shall not find it. So you're not going to be able to find the word. You're going to be seeking it, which means you're going to be looking all around for it. All right. Because you know this word is going to be able to help you. When you had it, you wasn't seeking it. When it was readily available, you didn't seek it. Right now, these videos is readily available. They don't get many views. Controversy, drama, debates get views. But then, in this time of famine, when you don't hear the words of the Lord anymore, you will seek it. And they said run to and fro. I mean, you'll be all over the place looking. All right, you'll be running around like a chicken with his head cut off. Where you going now? I'm looking for those guys that teach the word. That's how important the word is in these times. Goes to those that sell. We don't sell no more. We don't have enough for you. It says, and shall not find it. You're not gonna be able to find the words of the Heavenly Father anymore. You're not gonna be able to get it. No more learning. No more taking heed. Time's up. No more prophets on the street. Time's up. No more videos being made. Time's up. No more click, click, clack, clack. Subscribe here. Like this video. Put it in your playlist. That's all gone. You're done. It's finished. That's what the Heavenly Father Yahweh Shem Yahshua is about to bring. I brought this out. This video was edifying. Until next time, Shalom.